Hello and welcome to 21st Century Musician, where we help you to make better music. Today we're going to be looking at some styles of playing on the keyboard, and so we'll get right into it, and you'll see for yourself how easy it is and all the secrets that the people have been trying to keep from you all these years. With a piano, it's not so convenient to play chords in the left hand because of the pitch. They sound rather muddy. For example, well, there it doesn't sound too bad, but when you go down lower, it doesn't sound good. So generally that problem does not exist if you have more than one keyboard, as we do here, because we can play up here in the area where it's going to have a nice high sounding pitch, and over here we can have our melody on the top keyboard. Now if we're playing with one of the more modern keyboards that permits splits, you can split part of the keyboard and play with the left hand and even have the left hand sounding higher in pitch than the right hand if you choose to do that. So you don't get this problem of a continuous run like you do on a piano from all the way down there up to the very top. So for that reason, early piano music tends to be written to spread the chord through the left and right hand, or in fact to have the chord played in the right hand along with the melody, and probably just have some kind of a bass style now in the left hand. Now a popular bass style in the left hand is the octave, either played alternately like that or together. Now you can, in fact, if you're going to do it in an arpeggio fashion, arpeggio just means one note after the other, you can in fact do it like so. And when you do it like that, you generally use the root and the fifth of the chord. The root and the fifth note of the chord. And if you're playing more than one note in the right hand, generally it would have a nice sound, like for example here. Okay, let us show you how we form the chords. Here is an F major chord. Notice that the F is in the bottom position. Then we have A and C. We have, in fact, 1, 2, 3 semitones between the F and the A, and 1, 2 semitones between the A and the C. Okay, so notice that combination, 3, 2. To form the minor chord, we drop the third by a semitone. So now the number of semitones has been swapped. We have 2 between the bottom two, and we have 3 between the middle and the top. So 2, 3 or 3, 2. That is the relationship that is maintained between major and minor chords. And you've got to learn the sound of the different chords to identify the minor chords from the major chords. Now that can be repeated anywhere along the keyboard. Here is the C chord and the C minor. Okay? Here is the G chord and the G minor. Now, what else can we do with a chord? Well, if a chord has 3 notes, we can rotate the notes above. By that I mean we can take the F down here and we can bring it to the top. So that A is in the bottom, we have A, C, F. Then we can take the A and put it to the top as well, so that the bottom holds C, C, F, A. And then when we do that the next time, obviously we have the F in the bottom again, and we're back to the same F chord, only an octave higher. So we see that for any 3-note chord called a triad, we actually have 3 ways we can play it. They're called inversions, but we have 3 different ways we can play it. Either the F is in the bottom, the A is in the bottom, or the C is in the bottom. Okay? And that is the same across the entire keyboard. So here we would have D and D minor. Now notice they don't sound too good down there, because once we go below a certain pitch, the chord begins to sound muddy. It doesn't have a nice clean sound like it would up here. D and D minor. Now, what we're trying to show you, what we're trying to get across to you today, is the reason why we don't tend to play chords, whole block chords, with the left hand. 2, the fact that all these chords that we create are either in the major or the minor, and they can be played in 3 different ways, depending on, they have 3 notes depending on which notes is at the bottom or the lowest note of the chord. Trying to make it easy for you to understand what is going on. Now it's going to take some practice, because for example there is the G minor in the root position. We call it the root position when the bottom note is actually the note of the chord. So in other words, this is a G minor chord, right? But if I rotate the G up here, it's still a G minor chord, even though we have B flat as the lowest note. And if we rotate it up here, we have the B flat to the top and the D to the bottom. And then up here we're back to the same chord an octave higher. So playing the keyboard is not going to be nearly as hard as you thought it was. You just have to get used to the system of chords. Okay, so we don't want to stress you all. So that's your lesson for today. Now it's even easier than that in the fact that of all these many chords that we can play on the keyboard, only a small number exists in any key. Now yesterday we showed you the various chords of C major, and we're going to play them for you. C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished, and back to C. So we see that no black notes are involved at all, and we see that the same pattern just moves up a semitone. Well, it's not always a semitone, because going from the C to the D minor, it actually moves up a tone. But I'll do that again slowly for you so you can get it. Okay, so you can practice that now. And what is more important that you do is that you recognize the chords and the sound of the chords, so that you can in fact identify them by ear. Well folks, that's it for today, and we thank you for watching us on 21st Century Musician. We'll see you soon again.